Why do you need a second aircraft carrier in the Middle East? Well, this is not a simple rotation where one ship replaces another. This is a convergence. When two nuclear-powered aircraft carriers operate together in the same theater, they do not merely add their capabilities, they multiply them. When these two behemoths meet, they form a dual-carrier strike force, a combined level of firepower capable of ending a war swiftly or, if miscalculated, starting one just as quickly. Getting the newest carrier to the fight is not as simple as pointing the bow east. It is a logistical marathon measured in thousands of nautical miles. Currently operating in the Atlantic theater, the carrier and the relentless destroyers and cruisers of Strike Group 12 must execute a sustained high-speed transit. They will pierce the Strait of Gibraltar, navigate the narrow and politically sensitive choke point of the Suez Canal, and descend through the Red Sea before entering the broader waters of the Middle East. It is a 3-week race against time, a carefully coordinated movement of steel, fuel, aircraft, escorts, and personnel. Every mile traveled is a signal. But why send a second carrier to a region already patrolled by a Nimitz-class super? In modern naval warfare, the most dangerous enemy is not always a missile or a submarine. It is exhaustion. A single carrier strike group can generate immense combat power, but it cannot sustain maximum intensity indefinitely. Humans require sleep. Machines require inspection and repair. Aircraft need maintenance cycles. Without rest and reset, readiness collapses. To solve this, two carriers do not simply launch one plane at a time in parallel. Instead, they trade entire operational shifts. This is the doctrine of battle rhythm. It is not glamorous, but it is essential. Imagine a floating city powered by nuclear reactors and staffed by roughly 5,000 sailors. Without a synchronized system, it would descend into chaos. Battle rhythm is the daily heartbeat of the ship. It aligns the admiral's strategic decisions with the sailor's physical labor on the flight deck. There are two pulses. First is the operational pulse. This is the visible part. The aircraft, for 12 to 15 hours, the ship conducts continuous cyclic operations, launching and recovering jets every 60 to 90 minutes. It becomes a deafening, non-stop assembly line of controlled violence. Steam or electromagnetic catapults fire aircraft into the sky. Arresting cables catch them on return. Fuel, ordnance, and maintenance crews reset the aircraft, and the cycle repeats. Second is the command pulse. While jets are airborne, commanders move through a fixed schedule of intelligence briefs, targeting meetings, threat updates, and night orders. Information flows constantly from satellites, drones, and reconnaissance aircraft. Decisions are refined, synchronized, and transmitted. Battle rhythm transforms 24 hours of potential chaos into a sustainable routine of war. If you lose the rhythm, you lose the fight. Now, simplify it for two carriers working together. From midnight to noon, the USS Abraham Lincoln owns the darkness. This is the night shift. As a veteran Nimitz-class carrier, she relies on experienced aircrews and proven steam catapults to strike under the cover of night. For 12 hours, she launches wave after wave of aircraft, maintaining relentless pressure. As the sun rises and climbs high, her shift ends. By noon, Lincoln recovers her final aircraft and transitions into reset mode. Maintenance crews swarm the flight deck. Engines are inspected. Catapults are serviced. Sailors rotate to rest cycles. The ship prepares to do it again, but the adversary receives no relief. As Lincoln winds down, USS Gerald R. Ford ramps up. From noon to midnight, Ford takes the day shift. Using her electromagnetic aircraft launch system, she generates a higher sortie rate with greater efficiency. Visual identification is easier in daylight. Targeting coordination becomes more precise. She is faster, more automated, and relentless. The result is a suffocating embrace. Lincoln haunts the night. Ford dominates the day. Between them, there is no safe hour for an adversary, only the thunder of the next launch. With two carriers, the Navy unlocks continuous strike doctrine. By staggering schedules, strike fighters can remain airborne 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no operational pause, no reset window for the opponent. The sky is never truly clear. Then there is sheer volume. A single carrier brings roughly 50 strike aircraft. Two carriers bring nearly 100 dedicated fighters into theater. That is saturation capability. Radar systems and advanced processing software on the Ford-class carrier allow rapid identification and prioritization of threats. If small hostile drones approach the flight deck, onboard systems can automatically identify the most dangerous targets, coordinate defensive weapons, and engage them using close-in weapon systems. Automation reduces manual workload and increases response speed, making the defense against fast, small threats more efficient. If diplomacy fails, two carriers can generate a pulse of power capable of overwhelming sophisticated air defense networks. Too many aircraft approaching from too many vectors at once. It is saturation warfare, compressing the defender's decision cycle until it collapses. The hardware itself tells part of the story. The Ford-class carrier is among the largest aircraft carriers ever constructed. While similar in silhouette to the Nimitz class, its internal design differs significantly. The Ford has approximately 25 decks from the keel to the top of the superstructure, compared to around 18 decks in the Nimitz class. That vertical expansion translates into greater internal volume, improved aircraft handling, and increased storage capacity. Typically, Ford-class carriers can accommodate up to around 90 aircraft in optimized configurations, while Nimitz-class carriers generally deploy with around 60, though both can surge higher depending on mission demands. Much of this difference comes from the larger, more open hangar bay and redesigned flight deck. The hangar stretches across roughly two-thirds of the ship's length, providing space to store, maintain, and prepare aircraft beneath the flight deck. The flight deck itself spans roughly 4.5 to 5 acres, comparable to several football fields in combined length and width. That immense area allows simultaneous launches, recoveries, refueling, rearming, and staging of aircraft. It is engineered for tempo. Strategically, before any missile is launched, modern conflict often begins in silence. The opening phase focuses on disruption, jamming communications, degrading radar networks, and severing command chains. Air defenses depend on coordination. Remove coordination, and capability fractures. Electronic warfare, cyber operations, and space-based assets may aim to disrupt satellite links and digital infrastructure, creating confusion and delay. Mobile air defenses attempt to survive by staying hidden. Decoys can be deployed to force radar operators to activate systems prematurely. When radars emit signals, they reveal their position. Stealth aircraft equipped with anti-radiation missiles can then target those emissions directly. The objective is not just suppression, but dismantling of integrated air defense networks. With defenses degraded, heavier strike assets can approach hardened facilities. Precision-guided munitions are designed to penetrate reinforced structures. Sequential strikes may be used to maximize penetration depth before detonation. The goal is structural collapse from within rather than surface damage. Naval platforms in surrounding waters can launch cruise missiles aimed at command centers, logistics hubs, or missile depots. The objective is to sever command chains and neutralize retaliatory capabilities before they can be employed. Ultimately, the strategy behind dual carriers is overmatch. By combining sea-based air power, cyber capabilities, electronic warfare, and long-range strike assets, military planners aim to compress the adversary's reaction time to near zero. Continuous presence, continuous pressure, and continuous capability. Two carriers are not about symbolism. They are about sustainability, tempo, redundancy, and dominance. When one rests, the other strikes. When one resets, the other launches. The rhythm never stops.